Hi guys, this is Kaya and today's video is all about idioms in the English language. Have you ever heard the saying, kick the bucket? For example, Kim kicked the bucket. If you're not familiar with the English language, you'd probably think that it meant that Kim literally went and kicked over a bucket. But it really means that Kim died. Kick the bucket is what is called an idiom. So, what is an idiom? An idiom is a phrase or expression that usually has a figurative, non-literal meaning. It's figurative, creative language that helps to express complex ideas in a simpler way that's easier to understand. Idioms can also be used to make one's writing more interesting and dynamic. Merriam-Webster essentially defines an idiom to be an expression that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words, but that has a separate meaning of its own. Idioms are usually derived from local culture and customs specific to a certain language. So, let's take a look at a couple of common idioms in the English language and where and how they originate. Break a leg. This is a common and accepted expression of good luck, especially for someone about to perform on stage. It has its roots in Germany in the early 1900s, possibly from German aviators during World War I, eventually spreading to German actors and later to British and American actors as well. Why though? Wishing someone bad fortune comes from superstition, as it is said to reversely protect the person from the harm that could be caused by tempted evil spirits through wishing someone good luck. Piece of cake. This means that something is easy or can be done without too much difficulty, much like eating a piece of cake. It was first referenced in the 1930s when Ogden Nash, an American poet, was quoted as saying, "Life is a piece of cake," meaning life is easy. Heard it through the grapevine. This is an expression used to indicate that something is indirectly or unofficially heard. It originates at the beginning of the 20th century, after the invention of the telegraph. This form of communication needed thousands of miles of wire to be installed, held in place high above the ground by poles at an equal distance apart. People began to see these wires and poles as the strings used to train vines, leading telegraph lines to become known as grapevines. Cold shoulder. If someone is giving you the cold shoulder, it means that they're ignoring you and that you are unwelcome in their presence. This idiom has two possible origins. The first one is that it originated from serving an unwanted guest a literally cold shoulder of mutton, instead of a nice hot meal like everyone else who's welcome. The other theory is that it comes from keeping one's back, and therefore one's shoulder, in between yourself and the person who's unwanted, who's also being ignored. Raining cats and dogs. This idiom refers to very heavy rain. It sounds rather odd, right? This phrase originated in England in the 1500s, when houses had thatched roofs. Because England is a very cold and foggy country, these thatched roofs were often the only place where small animals like cats and even dogs could get warm. Hence, they'd end up on the roof. Whenever it would rain hard though, sometimes these cats and dogs would slip off the thatched roofs onto the street below, leading to the saying, "It's raining cats and dogs." Idioms are used frequently in the English language. They need context for you to understand them, since the individual definitions of each word in the idiom don't indicate what the idiom actually means on the whole. According to language experts, idioms are a key aspect of how humans communicate with each other. Because idioms don't have literal meanings that are associated with the words that make up the idiom, their frequent use in our communication suggests that humans are expressive, creative, and dynamic beings who communicate with each other in rich, more interesting ways, because we're not meant to exist in a strictly logical and literal basis. We're not robots. That means that human beings are inherently unique and creative, an aspect of our humanity which should never, ever be lost. Thanks for watching!